Hello, everyone. Today we're joined with Joanna Downing, a senior at Middletown High School North, and she's a student filmmaker. So thank you for joining us today, Joanna.
Thanks for having me, Sophia.
Of course. So first, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in filmmaking?
Sure. So when I was younger, I had an iPad and I loved making movies. Every time my friends would come over, I would say, be in a movie, I'll make it, you act in it. So yeah, at a very young age, I just loved everything about it.
What was your first film that you created?
My first film, let me think. What was my, do you mean like professional?
Yeah, either one, whatever you think of.
All right, yeah. So my first real film, I would say, would be Rules to Follow. It starred my mom and my friend Paige, and it was just about her following the rules.
Cool. So what is your favorite part about filmmaking?
Probably telling a story. I think it's really important to make the audience have a sense of why you're making the movie, and I think it's really important to understand yourself why you're making a movie and why you're telling such a story that is so important to you.
Do you have any mentors or people that you look up to that have inspired your filmmaking journey?
Well, actually, because of you, I met your mentor, Rafe. He's a really cool guy, really inspired me this summer. Who else? Mr. Cullen. Uh, gets our films out there, gets us connections with the film festivals, which is awesome. And yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about your photography business?
Okay. I started my photography business, Joanna Lee Photography, in my sophomore year, so about roughly 2 years ago. It has been such a fun journey. I love photography. It's always been a passion of mine. And getting locally recognized by students or getting referred from other students to other students for like either senior pictures or Sweet 16s or just regular Instagram pictures. It's so much fun. I love to do it. And having people want me to take their picture is just such a cool feeling.
What is your favorite part about having your own photography business and getting to like capture these moments?
My favorite part is probably being my own boss. I love having a company that is totally creative. I have total say over what's happening, where like what I get to do. So I love pictures, especially like looking back on old pictures of me. You always want to capture the moments, even if they aren't posed per se, like the candid moments. They're really important, I think, in life to look back on and just appreciate. And if I can capture that moment for someone else, I think that's just so cool.
Well said. um, what was one of the most memorable photo shoots or events that you had to capture?
One of the most memorable photo shoots I've ever done was probably my friend Sarah's Sweet 16. It was at such a beautiful location. There was a water fountain in the background. We got so many good pictures, and it was a lot of fun because I knew her family already. So it was just it was just so fun. They were so welcoming, and a lot of the pictures came out really well. And then that really opened my eyes into wedding photography, which is actually something I really want to do later in life. Well, I don't know that so later, but I really want to do wedding photography. Hopefully get a head start on it. I know I follow a lot of wedding photographers on Instagram, and like either they started like as an adult or like later, but I feel like I have such a passion for it that if I can start earlier, why not?
So that's leads me right into my next question. What do you plan to do in the future with your photography and film?
I plan to go to college. Not quite sure where yet. I'm still in the application process. I'm either going to go in state or probably New York, depending on when COVID, I don't even know what the situation is going to be like next year, but whatever it is, I think I'll be where I have to be. I really want to make a blockbuster movie, and I also want to travel the world and be a wedding photographer. And whether opportunities come my way, I will take.
Do you plan to continue your business?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna expand on it, build on it. Hopefully, like maybe change my logo, like change. As I get more professional, I think I'm definitely gonna keep it. I love the name of it because it's my name. I feel like it's very personal, so I feel like it's just meant to be. Like I feel like I should have always had this business.
Do you have any words of wisdom or advice for young filmmakers and photographers?
Some advice that I would give young filmmakers and photographers is to always say yes, because you never know what opportunities will lead to other opportunities. And another piece of advice I would give, if you love something, just go with it. Get a head start, because I started when I was 16. And from there I have done 7 Sweet 16 parties. I've done an engagement party. I have done what else have I done? I've done music videos, which is still in the mix, but that's okay. I've done I'm making a commercial right now for my friend's mom, who's an artist, and she's leaving me to other opportunities with other clients. Like, I would just say start when you know you love something. Yeah.
And this is kind of out of order, but can you talk about your films and like go through each one or the ones that you remember and just talk a little bit about them?
Sure. So I'll do like the ones that got in, because those can be used for the film festival, right? Right. One of the films I made is called North Film Doc. It's basically just a Q&A of all the kids from last year, who participated in film class, who also made films, and actually together we interviewed them, asked them about their futures, kind of like what you're doing right now with me. But last year we were in person before quarantine, and yeah, we put it together, and it's been doing pretty well in film festivals. And then another film I made was titled Kindness, kind of like the same format. I went around asking staff and students different questions about like what's the nicest thing someone said versus the worst thing someone's ever said to you, and it's all just about being kind, and that's been doing pretty well too. Another film I made was called The Letter. It stars my uncle, and my friend Ashley and I followed him around with a camera in Red Bank, and we put a voiceover over it, and it looks pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Anything in the works right now?
Yes, I am currently making a commercial for my friend's website. She's an artist. She's my friend's mom, actually. My friend's mom, she's an artist. I'm making her like little 30-second, maybe a minute short commercial, just advertising her artwork and her process. And yeah, so that's really exciting. I'm excited about that. So that's the main thing in the works right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you work on anything over the quarantine?
Well, as you know, together we did some interviews that will be going on the news pretty soon. We also together we made a short film with our friend Yasmin, and that looks really cool. And I actually did do a Sweet 16 during quarantine. It was in a backyard during the summer, so it was safe and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's what I did in quarantine.
Anything else you would like to say?
Um, I'm excited to see what my future brings in this filmmaking industry and photography industry. Um, I'm really excited to see what you do with the school news, and I'll always be a part of the film club and class at Middletown North. Like, I don't think any of us film kids will ever leave per se. It'll always be a part of us. So yeah, I guess that's it.
Cool. And do you want to plug some of your
Oh,
stuff?
sure. You can follow me on Instagram, joanna.lee.photography, Leigh, Joanna. My website is joannalee.photography. Put the www in front of that. Dot in front of that. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Joanna.
And thank you again for having me. Hi, I'm Joanna Downing, and joining us today is Sophia Haberbrock.
Hi.
So, Sophia, tell me a little about North News and your interviews because they are amazing. And can you tell us a little bit about how the experience is going with interviewing all these people?
So I started hosting the North News, last year during my sophomore year, and I just had a really good experience with it. And actually, when school got shut down because of quarantine last year, I actually created an edition of the quarantine news in quarantine from my house, and I interviewed a bunch of teachers and the principal and the superintendent and the mayor and like a bunch of different people, students, and I just created a quarantine edition of the news and discovered different people's experiences and how they're adapting in quarantine. And like before that, last year the news was kind of just like a monthly thing, but now it's like turned into more of a regular show, you know. So after the quarantine news, um, I've just been interviewing a lot of different people, and it's something that I really love to do. I love talking to people and hearing people's stories and just hearing different people's point of views and experiences. Like it's just so fun to me. Um, so this year what have I done? Over the summer, I did a lot of interviews, and it's actually gotten me a lot of different opportunities and gotten me like a lot of recognition, and which is like really cool and something that I've been getting used to because um, ever since I was little, I've really liked being on stage and like being in the spotlight and stuff. But like doing the news and being on camera is like such a different experience, and it's kind of like even being more vulnerable because people can like see you, and I don't know. It's just like I've had to learn to like not be so like judgmental of myself, you know, and like I've gotten used to that. And yeah, we made one North News this year so far, um, which I had a lot of different segments in. It was basically like I did most of the segments in that. We got to go to Ming's podcast studio over the summer. That was like the end of the summer, and we interviewed Yasmin and Max. So we went to Ming's podcast studio over the summer and interviewed Yasmin and Max, which was a really fun experience. Then I went to the pop up shop in Red Bank movies from the movie Clerks, and I got to interview like Ernie O'Donnell, and I interviewed Mika Borum, who was a child actress still in the industry. She is a director and she produces things and just like a filmmaker and actor. Um, this this guy Blake Drummond, who owns his own production company called Diagonal Media, which I actually um, got an internship for their company, which was really cool. I just worked on that over the past few weeks.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your filmmaking and some short films that you've made?
Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you a little about how I got into filmmaking. So I first started out doing community theater, um, which I still do that, and it's something I really love to do. and I started taking acting lessons. And then at the acting school that I went to, I met Rafe, who is been my mentor for many years, and he kind of showed me the like I've only before I met him, I only really saw things from like a stage point of view, or like being in front of the camera, let's say, but like he kind of showed me like the other way around and like behind the camera, and like how it's like a whole new world and like such a different perspective, which it was like so cool to me. And I always love to like me and my dad, uh, like we always really like to watch movies. Like I always liked movies. Like when I was little, I was like really like energetic and stuff, and I would love to be really active. But something that like my dad would always tell me is like, anytime we went to the movie theaters or sat down to watch a movie, I would sit down and like be really focused. And I I don't know. I just think that's like a cute story because even though I like was really active and like energetic and stuff, like I could sit down and like for a whole movie and just like be focused and stuff. So um, that started my love for like filmmaking. And Rafe was actually doing like a short film. Um, it was actually he was trying to do like starting a TV series that didn't end up getting like finished, but I got to be part of that. And this is another story that my dad always says. Um, on the set of it, I was it took place at a park because I was like a younger version of this character, and I had to like sit on a swing and stuff. And I saw the slate on the bench, like like the little clapper thing for the movies, and I like we always say love it for slate, like which I don't know, I just love the idea of like behind the scenes, like it was so cool to me. It still is. Um, so yeah, for a while I did like the community theater, but then I started getting into like filmmaking stuff. And I made my first film in 7th grade for like a Genius Hour project, actually, um, called The Trojan Horse of War, which actually I'm pretty proud of some of it, but it's overall not the best. But it was so cool and to be able to do that, and that's like where it started. Um, I did this documentary for this show that I was in, The Little Mermaid. That was an experience, definitely. It was a lot of work. Like I never really did like any documentary work before, so I definitely that was definitely a learning experience, and it turned out pretty well. Yeah, that was like those were like my first few projects, but I made Friends Forever, which is like the main one that's was in festivals for a while, which that was actually freshman year, so it's kind of died out now, but that was a main one. I did Fly Guy, which was just like a 24-hour like film festival challenge. I did in quarantine. I made Free Breeze, which is an experimental piece. It's this ball on like a foam ball, and it's rolling down the boardwalk, and like it matches up to music, and it's just like I don't know. It's really cool. You have to watch it to find out, but it kind of goes on like a whole journey. Um, what else? And then a bunch of like the New York News things, the interviews. That's the main things. Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to plug your YouTube channel?
Of course. So my YouTube channel is called Sophia Directs. Um, Sophia space directs. My Instagram is sophia.directs. And my personal Instagram is Sophia Gabriella with 3 A's at the end. Uh, and make sure to watch the news and make sure to subscribe and follow me at Sophia Directs. And new content coming soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us with this interview.
Of course. Thanks for having me.